Hey everybody, welcome back to Heckerdoodle's channel, and today I am finally showing my flip book that took me months to do. This flip book, the Twilight Saga flip book that I did a collaborative with Miss LED on Instagram and Pink Parisian Girl on YouTube, and she also is on Instagram as Pink Parisian Chick 85. This collaborative was supposed to be done in March. We had talked about it sometime in, I think it was early in January, and it's just taken me this long to finally get it done. These two lovely ladies had actually sent me their flip book already, but because I had not finished mine, I'd promised that I would not open it until I finish my book. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I did. I believe the girls were doing Team Edward, and they were making Team Jacob for me, and the two other girls are Team Edward because that's who they liked in the movie. But on my end, I didn't want to just do the teams. I actually kind of want to do the whole entire saga, which is why it took me a long time. I'm going to go ahead and show you the front because I know I'm talking a lot. I'm not showing you anything, but this is basically two of the same books, just a little bit different in some ways. So this is my flip books that I've created. I'm not sure if this is doing it justice. So there, two of the same books. They have the same exact things in there basically, but then just the paper or what I use is a little bit different. This one is made for Miss LED. And then this one is for Karina. I'm just going to probably show you one because they're basically the same one. I'll show you this one, but they're basically the same. Some of the background pages are a little different. Keep in mind, this is not like the typical flip books you might see during, like, you know, pen pals, where you have, like, you know, you write a little letter and you have all these other things. This one was mostly made as a tribute to the Twilight Saga because we're like Twihard fans. A lot of the pictures are based on the movies. I did read the books, so and there's a lot of quotes here. I think some of it's mixed in with the book and the movie. It just depends. I just wasn't sure which one I chose, but it took me a long time to finish. It took me like at least. It was due in March, towards the end of March, and I just finished right now, the beginning of May. So, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you this already. So basically it's the same thing. I did tie in stuff. I have tied in a red ribbon. If you guys are familiar with the books in the series, the book covers had a red satin ribbon for, I believe, the Eclipse book cover. So I just wanted to go ahead and incorporate that into my flip book, but it's not torn or anything, like shredded like they do in that story. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it. So this was done with acetate paper, plastic cover, and the reason why they was different is because I didn't have when I picked up that scrapbook, they only had one, and they didn't have the same one, so I had to kind of make them a little different in that way. But I just chose this one for this one. So the first page starts off with, of course, Twilight, and this is the Twilight page. I'll get a little closer. And basically this is a Twilight section of the first book. It's all about Edward and Bella and how Bella meets him. And so I just put some pictures when she first sees him at the cafeteria, and I just put a couple of goodies in these little pockets I have in here. These are just some little pictures of, you know, from the movie. And then this is when he's like trying to show her that he's what a vampire he is, and then, you know, just pretty pictures. And I laminated these. And then this is the apple, like how in the book there's an apple that in the story there in the cafeteria he's holding the apple. So I just went and got some post-it notes that I found at Office Depot, and I just wanted to show that. So I just put this in the pocket with a heart paper clip that I've had. So that's for that pocket full of goodies. Now I did have a couple of differences. I'll go ahead and I'll show you a photo of it, but the one that I have for the other book, I made this into heart. So when I was designing this, it was mostly I would do one page and then realize I want to do something else. I would kind of reconstruct it in a different light. So there might have been some changes back and forth. I would work on one book and then another person's book. So it's not like I'm working on someone's book and they're just going to have one. I was doing them simultaneously. So at each time I would finish like a story, I would work on theirs, and I would find some stuff that I want to fix. So anyway, this is the scene where Bella and Edward are on the grass or like the meadows, and I just wanted to go in and do it that way. I added some pictures of and had them on foam tape so they kind of like lifted a little bit. And of course there was all these purple flowers. I decided to go ahead and put all the purple flowers in this quote, and I'm gonna have a hard time reading it this direction, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it on this one. I guess I could show you since I'm showing it. This is how the other one looks like. I made it into a heart. I didn't want to redo it again because this might rip off and I didn't want to have to redo the whole book. So basically it just says, about 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him and I didn't know how potent that part of him might be that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. So you'll notice the different fonts I'm using. These are the fonts I believe that were in the book. This is how her handwriting would have been. So whenever I had Bella's like quotes, I would write it in these quotes. This is just the regular Twilight font. So I found the fonts online and I wanted to go and use them. So for this one, you're going to open it up and it is a pop-up. I'm not sure if this is doing its justice, so I'm going to go try to see if I can kind of bring it up. Sorry. So this is a pop-up. I made it into a pop-up opening. And basically, it's just them in the trees. And it says, I love you more than everything else in the world combined. And that's what it says on top. I don't know if you could see that. It's kind of hard to see it. That's the light. Let me see if I can show you. There you go. And so, and then and then I wrote in his font is a different type of font for Edward's. And it says, do you trust me? And then she goes, then in theory, she says, and close your eyes. So I just did it like that. And these are just the trees. And I like how this works this way because it seemed like the trees are kind of moving. So I kind of like the way this turned out. Now the second part is just a pocket full of other, just the designs at the end where he takes her to prom. I just wanted to use the blue washi tapes and stuff because she was wearing a blue dress. And then on this one it says, you don't know how long I've waited for you. And this is what Edward says. And then just cute photos, and I just put in the pockets, I put more, some Apple stickers, and then I put pictures of him. And then some project cards that says you and me for eternity. I think in hers is the other one has a different project life card. And the goodies, they're kind of different in a sense. And then also, so the lion fell in love with the lamb. So, and I had this in my Twilight pocket letter I had made for another friend. And I just wanted to incorporate the same one. And I thought it was really, really pretty. So I got those. So that's how that turned out. Okay, and that closes up that way in that direction. Now the next one is New Moon, and now that you guys know I'm a Team Jacob person, I actually made I think I spent a little bit more time on New Moon than most of the whole entire movie. Although you'll see later on, I think it did work out a lot more, but this ends up having to have a lot more stuff the rest of the movie sets. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the next part is the New Moon section. I wanted to go ahead and incorporate the wood, and it's more in the golder tones. I don't know if this you notice on this page, it was the purple background. This is supposed to be her bedspread on her bed, the purple like comforter set. That's why the colors are all kind of purpley, bluish colors, that tinge. But now this is more on the gold side because of the New Moon era with all Jacob, and it's more rustic. So I did a lot of foresty kind of wood stuff, textured paper. This is when Edward actually broke up with Bella. So I cut the picture in half, and then I try to see, I don't know if you can notice that the heart is broken. And that, this is the photo, of course, of when it was her birthday, and the reason why they broke up in the first place, because, you know, he can't always protect her when, you know, things happen. Okay, on the side is actually a couple things in here. So on this one, I meant to take this off, is Jacob giving her her birthday gift, which is a dream catcher. And I was going to make a dream catcher myself, but I decided not to. I found a charm instead and just decided to go ahead and attach it to this picture. Here's Jacob as a wolf and him, how he looks like now because of when he turned into being part of the wolf pack that he's in. And so it goes like that. And then I have a little brad here. You're supposed to turn it. And on here it says, Kikwale means stay with me forever in Quaalude. So this is that scene when he was about to kiss her, and then Edward calls, and then all that stuff happens. So anyway, this whole scene is basically in the New Moon. When he broke up with her, she wanted to do crazy things because the only way she could see him is if she does something kind of risky. So on this page, I have I have the scene where she's on a motorcycle, and like I said, when after he makes he fixes these motorcycles that she had chosen, I put a pizza sticker here because there's a scene there when he's fixing, she threw a pizza. I just wanted to throw that in. So after they fix the motorcycle, she decides to drive, and I made a little motion penny slider. Basically, it's a penny slider, and you're supposed to pull it and it moves over to the rock where she falls and hurts herself. And in this picture you see him helping her, and she says, "You're kind of beautiful," and then he's like, "How hard did you hit your head?" So yeah, I thought this part was really fun to make. It's a penny slider, and I do have a tutorial. I do have a video that I may show how I did this. We'll see. So it goes back and forth. I mean, you can just not pull it. I put these here to indicate what to do to pull gently. And I made this in 2 different ways. At first, because of this little joint here was really wasn't very stable, I had to redo the whole picture and laminate it just so it has a little bit more so it won't break so hard. So that's how that part of this thing works. And on here, this is that Dreamcatcher coloring paper we got from Michael's, and I just colored it, and I added some stuff in there. And I just put a little arrow to indicate there's another page. Like I said, there was more stuff done in this movie than the rest of the story, I think, for all the pages I was making. Then of course here's It Would Be As Easy As Breathing With Me, and a picture of him and her at the end, and she's saying, you know, "I'm sorry, I would always be Edward." And then there's some washi tapes that I used. I used a lot of wood washi tapes to make it a little bit more rustic. Because it was more of nature and stuff when it comes to Jacob. So and I just add some washi tapes and stick them here. I believe in this little part right here, there's just some stickers of like the motorcycle stickers I was going to use in there, and I decided to do another thing. I just put some page flags and some motorcycle stickers. I was going to use this in there, but I decided when I started looking up things like how to make different things to incorporate onto from a flipbook standpoint, I use that instead. So yeah, so that's how I made that side of the book. And then that just closes up like this, and then you just close it again. So that was Numo. Alright, so here's Eclipse, and this was a little bit different. This is when Victoria is still going after Bella to kill her because they killed her mate, and now that they're going after her, the wolves decide they're going to go help out. And here is the bracelet. I put together this bracelet that it's supposed to be what Jacob gives Bella for her graduation gift, and so he makes her a wolf charm or whatever. I think it was actually made out of wood, but of course I can't find anything, and I don't know how to carve. And then Edward decides to give her says, you know, I want to have something that represents me. I found this Swarovski charm, and I just put it on the bracelet, so they have a bracelet if they want to. And basically on here it says, "I am neutral country, I am Switzerland." She says that in the book. I got that quote for the book, and that's why there's a Switzerland sticker, because they're always fighting, and she says, you know, basically I'm Switzerland, you can't do anything, so just be neutral. So I just made it that way. And on this one is a proposal. Edward actually proposes to her to marry her. So it says, "I'm from a different era. Things were a lot less complicated. And if I were to met you back then, I would have courted you. I would have taken chaperone strolls, iced tea on the porch." And this is a waterfall, kind of like the same design as what I did for the other flip book I did with the comic strip for Mother's Day. So I just go ahead and did it this way. So the first one you pull, I will say, his picture indicates here, "I may have stolen a kiss or two, only after asking your father's permission." And I would have got down on one knee, and that's what he's doing. And then I would have presented you with the ring. This is my mother's. And it says, "Isabella Swan, I promise to love you every moment forever. Would you do me the extraordinary honor of marrying me?" And because it doesn't go as too far anymore, I put yes on the inside and then the kiss. And that's how I did that part of the waterfall technique for that part. Okay, and after you turn this page, there is the rest of the movie, because this is basically not all the story. It's an actual explosion card I did with opening the rest of the story, where it's just basically all the pictures of the people of Eclipse. You have Riley and the newborns here, the love triangle between Edward and Jacob and Bella. She kisses him in this scene, goes, I'm asking you to kiss me. She says, I love you more here, and then he says, I know. And there's Victoria, and there's the Volturi, and then, yeah, that's basically this whole page. And the Cullens, of course, who get into the fight to help assist, because there was like a war between the newborns. One of my favorite movies because there's a lot of action in it. So, yeah, this is how that part turned out. So the next page is Breaking Dawn Part 1. We're almost finished. Yeah, 5 movies, but there's only 4 books. So I did it this way, where the first story of the Breaking Dawn Part 1 is just about the wedding and them getting together. I wanted to put the ring, actually wanted to put this ring in the Eclipse section, but there was no space, so I just decided just to tie it in here into the wedding section. And I just did it so it will look like this, where it's all like all whites and wedding and all her stuff. And I just put the pictures of her clothing, her dress and her shoes, because I thought they were so pretty. And it says here from Edward, I've been waiting a century to marry you, Miss Swan. So I just put that all in there. I put the little flower that was, you know, because they had a lot of flowers at the wedding, and I just wanted to go ahead and incorporate that. And on here, I actually bought the Cullen seal. That's one of the things that took me forever. Some of these things I did purchase online from overseas, like this ring was from eBay I had purchased, so I bought 2 of them. And they're relatively they weren't expensive at all, but it just did take a while because I got them from Hong Kong. It might have taken a while to get anything done because a lot of these things were not available here. Here is the invitation. I bought this Cullen seal, and I really wanted to incorporate that wax seal in it. And believe me, wax seals are not easy to work with if you want it to make it look as perfect as possible. I have all these different versions of it. Like I did this one, and it didn't seal very well. And I got a whole bunch of different extra waxes on here that are not as good either, or that I didn't choose to put. So there's a couple of them I was using, but it was pretty fun to try using wax for the first time. But it's like you need to put a lot of wax, and it takes forever to kind of melt too. So in here is the invitation. I won't open that because that's for the girls, but basically it looks like that. I just recreated they received. I believe it was Jacob's dad who actually was showing it on the scene. So I went ahead and created that for them, and it's in here. And in the back of this, which I won't try to pull too much because it's in here, it's really hard to put back in, is you're cordially invited, so they know this is the invitation. And I put some seals. There's three actual seals I put on some acetate paper. I don't know if they could just use it if they want to for anything. I was just some extra seals that I had created for them that act like a sticker if they wanted to, or do whatnot with them. So I just wanted to add that as an extra goodie. And then here there's some washi tape I don't really want to take out because it's kind of hard to put back in here. So that's how that looks like there. And then on this page, you're gonna open it, and this is the honeymoon and the Isle of Esme, and then scenes from there. I put these feathers here, so if you guys understand what the feathers mean, it was in that part of the honeymoon where the feathers were flying everywhere. So I just added some feathers inside this pocket, and then I just wanted to go ahead and put some extra goodies. It's just the mirror and the letter K for Karina. So it's just a magnet I wanted to put in there, and I stuck it inside this little opening here and kept it as a pocket. And then this, of course, is when she's getting, she became pregnant. They were pregnant on her honeymoon as a human and not a vampire, which is why the story goes on the way it does. So you're starting to see this other part of the picture, but I'm going to go show this part. This is a mobile that I put together. It's just pictures of... I forgot her name, but it says, "You are a demon mortes." Basically, she's saying in Portuguese that she's gonna die. She's dead. And then there's her. So I didn't want to show the rest of the movie where they're talking about her pregnancy because it was really ugly. So this is her already dead and turning into a vampire. This is how she's doing. It's basically a transformation mobile. And then same picture, but how she's turning more prettier, beautiful as she's transforming into a vampire. And then I'll put those back later. But here on this one, I put a little pulley here. So at the very end of the movie, you see her eyes closed, but then at the very, very last minute, she opens her eyes. So that's the end of part 1 of the Breaking Dawn movie. So that's how I did this little peekaboo card. Okay, and so that's the end of part 1. Okay, part 2 is one whole big thing. I hope this doesn't get complicated. Part 2 is now the ending of the saga. And here I made this trifold 3D card. I can't remember what it was, but I found a lot of these things I put in this book is from YouTube. I did a lot of YouTube tutorial watchings and stuff like that wanted me to go ahead and do this. So here is basically almost like a gate card with more extra stuff. So when you pull one end of the picture, all of this opens up. And I'm not sure if this is going to do it justice, but they all open up like so, and sometimes you have to work it to help it though, but let me see if I can kind of go backwards there. So these are all the pictures of Breaking Dawn Part 2. There's a lot of things that happen in that movie, so I just went ahead and did it this way. So from here, it's just, when he imprints on her, and it says everything inside me came undone as I stared at the porcelain face. It was the baby girl. It was the baby girl that held me here now, Renesmee. So this is what he says, and I kind of just shortened up his little quote in the story about how he imprinted on her and how he is with Renesmee, their daughter. So this as she grows up, how she looks like. I have loved you for 1,000 years, which is the song in the movie. I just put forever. And then there's all these different pictures throughout the books, and I put all the pictures of books in this little section of this card. Now this is a double slider card. It's just this is the ending actually of the story where they're all happy, and then this is what I'm going to pull out. You could either pull one side, but it doesn't really matter. They both pull out, and it says happily ever after. This is what Alice says. Well, Alice sees in the future for them that they're going to be together at the end. So that's just how that works out for that one. And I'll just close that up. Okay, and then more pictures of, everybody in the story and throughout the movie. And then, I don't want to lose like the Volturian and the wolves and the other vampire, half immortal person, the vampire and half a human person, and everybody. I know these are really small pictures, but this is everybody that was basically a coven of other vampires that were going to help out to prove that Renesmee is not a vampire and not a threat. And then here at this one, I don't know if you noticed, this picture is the picture of the fight between what would have happened if they did fight. So yeah, and then you just kind of close it back up like that, and it ends like that. And this is the ending of the story of the flip book, and that's how I just did it. I did a lot of hinge work. I did a lot of hinge work to get this to stay and to close together. To keep this binding really strong, to keep it really nice and thick. So anyway, I hope Celi and Karina like this, enjoyed my flip book. I had such a fun time putting it together. And, I was really happy. Part of me wishes that I had made one for myself. Yeah, I got to make sure I close it up, but I have to put this back in. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this flip book. I know this is pretty long. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.